I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What is up, everybody? All you Ozark fans out there, thank you for joining us tonight. We appreciate you stopping by. This is the Ozark After Show. Today we are talking Season 3, Episode 4 of this great Netflix show, Ozark.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are here in our LA studio. It's a little cool, you know, which is the polar opposite of what happened on this episode.
Yes, sir. That's a very good point.
So we are going to get into it today. I mean, I'm talking straight heat rocks. We're going to be talking about MArty getting captured, Wendy running the family without MArty, and even Ruth kind of stepping in, dealing with the FBI lady, and having a little side fling with some Ben Davis. So we're going to get into all that. But before I do, I want to give let my co-host introduce himself.
Hey, everybody. Good to be back on the Ozark After Show. MArty's got 99 problems, and Navarro is number 1.
That's what I'm talking about. I love it. So we are going to get into this because it was straight fire today. Also tune in a little later. We're going to have our special segment, Hail to the Ozark. We're going to talk about whatever our Hail to the No moment was.
Yes.
For the show, and you guys can chime in as well because I'm sure there were many moments that you could have chosen for sure. So we'll definitely get into that a little later. But let's get things started off. Let's talk about MArty getting captured and going down to the Navarro lair.
Wow. Well, I love the way that this episode starts, right? Like it's literally the exact way we end it, except we switch perspective.
Love that.
That was such a great way to start, right? Like literally coming from the back of the dude coming out of the SUV.
Right.
And then we got, MArty with the gauze on, like
His
you can kind of see. And, so it was just such a great way to remember where we just came from, right? And now, we're going.
Right.
We're getting on a plane, guys.
Exactly. Gone. And then even when we got to the lair where they kind of had even the security footage, kind of shots when they were like putting him through, you were like, okay, they're kind of giving you all these different perspectives on getting in there. So, so that, like you said, again, they usually do those first, 30 seconds to a minute or maybe a couple minutes before the little title comes on. You're just like, wow, they set us up for, what's about to go down. So,
what I love about this too is that, like, the characters in this show, like Wendy and MArty, and Helen, they can kind of get in their head of like, oh, I'm in charge now, or we got this, right? And I feel like this episode, like Navarro was like, guys, I'm just reminding you who's in charge here.
Exactly. No, that's a very real point. And like you said, you can see everybody like nervous. Helen, Wendy, because he's just like, you can see he has everybody just kind of by the, like, ooh, walking on, eggshells.
Right.
There.
Well, because Helen, obviously, she's been down this road before.
Right.
So she knows what all this plus this equals you need to tell your kids, right? Like
you might need to think of an exit plan here, Wendy, because this could go sideways real quick. Well, which actually leads me into my first point, Wendy and Helen. So they kind of start talking about actually exactly that. Like, hey, you might need to like tell your kids or what's kind of the next move. Helen kind of describes who the people were that took MArty.
Right.
And then Wendy says like, oh, I just talked to him like the other day. And the radar kind of goes up on Helen like, oh, really? Like, how did you get that number? So I kind of thought that I saw that as Helen being like, you're infringing on my territory. Like, how did you get to talk?
Right. Well, kind of what I was saying. Like, nobody's in charge here except Navarro.
Right.
Everybody thinks they're on a higher level than the next guy, and it's like, no. You all work for Navarro.
Exactly. And they kind of, like you said, Helen kind of, they're discussing their different strategies, and Wendy wants to just call him, and Helen's like, I don't think that's a good idea. And, she goes and calls, the number's disconnected, which is like just very, just drug lordy and like,
totally.
I'm not coming back on the same line.
Right. You ever heard of a burner?
Right. So, Wendy's just like, maybe she's just a novice, but Navarro probably had been throwing that phone away.
Navarro's kind of like, I've seen The Wire. I know how this works.
Exactly. So, you know, yeah, he's and like you said, he probably just doesn't trust her because of, like you said, what happened last time when in the last episode when the guy was like, "Hey, cut that phone, like someone's looking in."
Right.
So after that, he was probably definitely like, "Oh yeah, I'm out. Like I gotta, you know, get me a whole new T-Mobile account or whatever, whatever he had, you know." So we see MArty get down there. He gets in the lair. He's in prison. Obviously, has no idea what's about to go down. Like, he's gonna die. Like all this stuff. The guys kind of slap him around a little bit. He goes and meets Navarro. Navarro asks that proverbial question, "What do you want?"
What do you want?
And MArty's kind of face, and I justifiably so. I probably would have been the same way. Like, what? Like,
you know, I love Jason Bateman. He's so good at like not saying anything but saying everything. Like, I don't know how you want me to play this. I will play it however you want. Just let me know what we're looking for here.
Right.
What world are we going down? Or, you know,
exactly. And like you said, he gives like the I don't understand the question.
Yeah.
And Navarro's like, "Get him out." You know,
All right.
and I would have been too. I would have like, "Wait, what? Like,
wait.
I didn't even get a chance to
give
say
me another chance."
Back into the hole he goes, and we see him kind of just struggling there. You know, they're playing the loud music. They got the heat lamp on him, or I don't know what that was. I thought they were gonna try to cook him or something.
Right.
I don't know. He's eating. They show him eating the food, and at one point he looks in there, look like there were maggots. That looks like maybe rice, you know. And then he spits out the food. So you're like, oh, this dude's just going through it. And we start to see, as part of him being in the hole, he starts having these flashbacks to when, you know, he was a kid. And,
yes.
And I'm assuming it was his father that was it. We never really got.
Yeah, I mean, because that was definitely his mother.
Yeah,
I would think it would have to be his father.
That's what I thought. At first, initially, I said either father, maybe a grandfather. I don't, you know, because you just saw it was kind of an older, you know, guy in there. So, but I'm gonna assume it was his father that was in the hospital.
But this was very interesting because me and you both were like, wait, we've never heard about his parents.
Right.
So this was a very interesting kind of look into where MArty comes from, like MArty the analyst, MArty the numbers guy, right? Like literally coming from a video game,
right?
You know, trying to always trying to kind of figure out the system so that he can work it, right?
Exactly.
So that was a very interesting kind of. I thought nothing I was expecting, right? To go down this path of flashback with MArty,
right? And I feel like you said, that played so well into this episode because as he's in this hole, even though he's in this stuff, you feel like his mind is still like, all right, how am I going to get out of, you know, I'm trying to figure out, how do I get out? I mean, he's been in so many predicaments before that he's gotten out of. This is just a higher stakes one. And, you know, he's still just like, okay, you know, when he starts walking and doing the bottles of beer count, and you can kind of tell, like you said, even when he was young, and that was kind of his way of, you know, I don't know, maybe therapeutic way or, you know, dealing with stuff.
Well, I think he's trying to make sense of it all, right? He's trying to put it in a box. And Navarro, Navarro's like literally like I'm erasing all your coping mechanisms. Right. I'm erasing them.
Right. And like you said, then we see Navarro come in a couple times. They have a conversation, interesting conversation about Wendy. You know, comes up the second time. Yes. And I thought it was real interesting. I mean, it was like one of those things. You know, first he brings her up, and he straight up tells. Navarro straight up tells MArty, like, you fear her, you know, and
yeah, I think he said, you fear her because you don't understand
because
her.
You don't understand her. Yeah, and I was like, oh wow, and even
it was kind of deep.
I was gonna say even MArty at that time was probably like, wait, what? Like, how do you know this stuff about my wife? First of all, and I'm in this hole, and what's going on right now? We're talking about her, and now you're getting all philosophical on me, and yeah, he said you don't understand her, and so which, you know, kind of leads.
Well, because he says, unlike yourself, she knows exactly what she wants.
Exactly.
Because she does. I mean, that's the thing we've definitely seen with Wendy in the past, like last season and then especially this season. Like, she knows exactly what she wants.
Right.
And she ain't afraid to go after it.
Right. And I think it's interesting that I feel like Navarro's like the type, you know, because later on in the, you know, when MArty does come back later and says, I do know this is what I want.
Right.
And before that, I feel that, you know, he's trying to play like, hey, how can I placate you? What do you want? What do you like? What do you want me to say? And I think Navarro was just like, man, just pick a side. Just say, you know, like when he's like, I want the other guy to win, and I hope he cuts your head off.
Right.
And it was almost like Navarro was like, now we're getting started. Like, that's what I'm talking about. You know, don't be playing. Just let me know who you are.
Just man up.
Exactly. And I think he respects it, even if you wanted the other guy, but at least you have a position.
Yes.
And I think Navarro's like that type of guy where it's like, I respect that. Even if you're not for me, but I respect that at least you put it out there. And that kind of, I think, maybe starts MArty going down a path, because after that he starts getting real gangster with him. I would have been, if I had been there, I would have been like, well, okay, well, settle down now, MArty. Like, don't get carried away and talking to the man all crazy.
It's still Navarro.
Exactly. You know, like especially when he fixed the computer, you know, and he takes him back and he was like, I did it, I won, you know, you MF for this and that. You're just like, okay, like, you know, settle down. And I think Navarro's probably like, okay, yeah, get him out. Like, I'm not dealing with this.
Well, it's funny. That's not another great moment, I think, for the character of MArty, in that, like, he's literally just been tortured and tortured. They put the computer in front of him, and all of a sudden his brain's like, now I can focus. Now this is my world.
I was going to say,
this is my world. I know how this works. And it was like, man, you just saw the genius of what he can do.
Right.
Like, after all that stuff has been done to him.
Right.
Boom.
That's
that
like
muscle memory of just being like, yep.
That's his comfort place.
Yeah.
Like you said, because he was just talking through it. For, you know, change the passwords twice, you do this and this and this, boom. You know?
I mean, literally, because I was like following what he said. I'm like, that would have taken me 25 minutes to do.
Exactly.
And he was doing it in, like, you know, under 10 seconds.
Right.
I don't know, whatever.
And it was interesting because I was wondering if Navarro almost wanted to see him not, you know, it's kind of like, where's my money? Like almost something like, you can't fix this, I'm going to have to kill you or something. And he actually did it. And I think Navarro was like, oh, you found the money. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, like almost like took him off guard a little bit.
You
like,
actually have value.
Exactly.
I see your value.
Exactly.
And see, that's what's so great about the show is, like, you would think, okay, now Navarro's going to give him something, right? He's going to give him a little, okay, good job, MArty. And he's like, okay, good. Get out of my face.
Right.
You know, I doesn't even give him that. He literally just kind of
just like, gives the look, and the guy's like,
puts his glasses back on. That's it. I'm good.
Right. Like, basically, like, I'm letting you live. Like, that is your payment right there. And I'm not even going to, like, acknowledge that I'm letting, you know, it's like, you already know. You already know. So,
just a quick side note.
Yes.
The actor who plays Navarro, he's so on point.
Love him.
So on point. Like, he just, there is a presence to him and a weight to him. You know, he literally doesn't have to do anything.
Right.
And you're just terrified of this guy.
Which you feel like a lot of those guys, like in real life, like I mean, so much power. Like, I don't have to, like, I could be crazy, but I don't have to yell and scream, because you already know, like, what I have at my disposal, what I can do. Like, you know, I'm ruthless.
Yes.
So I don't have to be, like, all crazy. It's just more like you said, everyday life for them. Like when he was talking without the maids in the previous episode, he was like, oh yeah, she's no longer with us.
No longer with us.
Bye, Wendy. You know, and it's just like that calm kind of, like, you know, but they do have, you feel like maybe on the inside there's that, you know, you just can't be totally, like where they feel like, oh, they're almost like paranoid, you know, about some stuff.
Sure.
He did, you know, open up about, like, I think, like, this is going on. But like you said, he never really has like a...
You feel like he's like 10 steps ahead of everybody.
Right, right. Even when he was like knocking out MArty in this, you know, when they had the visitation in there and he hit him a couple times, and it was like, okay, you know, like that's the way I handle things.
That's
you know?
just,
that's
it's a
world.
Tuesday for me. Yeah,
exactly. So, like I said, the big takeaway from that is obviously MArty unfreezes the bank account, and then reveals, I'm gonna have the FBI agent.
Oh, yeah.
And his big want, we get the big reveal that his want is, I just want to be able to launder money when I think it's okay. And you're just like, oh, that's a, you know, and I think
it's that thing of like, I want it to be safe. Like, I know, like, I'm the guy that has to do this.
Right.
Let me do what you've given me the task to do. Stop interfering.
Right. Which is actually coming at him again on a level where it's like, wow, okay, like that's kind of ballsy to be like, I need you to let me do what I do and just not basically be stepping in all the time or be over my shoulder and I have to be worrying about it. Like, I know what I'm doing. I'm good. You obviously just saw me hack into your account or do what you need to do and get your money back.
Right.
So like you said, you kind of wonder if, like, you know, Navarro, now that he's seen him in person and I've dealt with him, like, maybe he will be. Well, obviously he let him go home, you know, sent him back home. And maybe it was kind of like, okay, you know, so we'll see. But it was definitely interesting. But I'm really interested in now this plot line going forward with the FBI agent and
the pregnant FBI agent.
Right. And how he's going to do that. Because he already told her, last episode, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come work for the FBI.
Yeah.
So it's like, ooh wee, like, is he gonna get in there and then be shady? Like, I love it.
I don't want anything to do with Marty's brain. Like, I'm exhausted talking about it. I can't imagine what the wheels turning.
Right.
That hamster is just on fire.
Constantly. Just never adult. Like, he can't afford to rest, you know, because there's always something going on.
How many Red Bulls has that hamster had?
Oh, man. Like you said, I mean, just the whole case. Like, it just, like, where it's running down and he's just, like, eyes bugged out, you know, just keeping it going. So that was a good, like you said, that MArty storyline, really enjoyed that with Navarro. So before we move on, though, guys, we want to just let you know, please keep supporting the podcast, the YouTube channel. We love it when you guys get on, subscribe, hit the likes, leave comments. We love interacting with you guys, and it's because of you guys that we even have the show. So again, we appreciate the support. We are your ESPN of TV talk, so let's keep us going.
Yes,
we
sir.
Appreciate it. So moving on to the next topic I want to get into is Wendy. So while MArty's away dealing with Navarro, Wendy's kind of running things, I guess, kind of concurrently with Helen. You know, they're trying to keep things moving while MArty's gone. So the first thing that was interesting is when she goes to lie to the kids on where MArty is.
Yes.
And they right away are like, like within 2 seconds, like, really? He just left? Okay, yeah. So did the cartels pick him up, Mom?
Yeah, no, it's fine. Like, these kids are too smart,
They are.
Wendy.
They are.
Like, they're your kids. They're smart, and like, you've already let them in. Like, you just have to you can't keep things from them. No. It's not helping anything.
And I feel like she, like you said, she can't. I mean, they already know what's going on. So anything like weird or out of the ordinary, you're gonna think they're gonna be like, no, this is not how things operate, or like the way the guys have taught us or told things. So yeah, immediately Charlotte and Jonah are like, something's wrong, something's up.
And I love that, you know, the conversation that Wendy has to have with Ben. I work for a Mexican drug cartel.
Right.
What?
Right. Eventually, because he was just pressing, like, what is going on? She lets it fly, and like you said, he's just like, what are you guys into? You know?
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like, okay, so it's out the bag, you know? Now you know what we do, and now we got to move forward. Just like she told Charlotte, just got to move forward with it now. You know, you can't keep it hiding from him. So Helen gets involved and is kind of like, hey, like, maybe you need to find a plan if this stuff goes sideways. We see Ruth with a little emotion where she's like, I can't run the casino without MArty. Like, he does certain stuff that I can't do. And she's got to kind of grow up. I mean, she's had to grow up this whole show, like, just very quick, from taking care of her cousins to running everything, you know, now running a casino.
Ruth has never been allowed to be a little kid, a teenager even.
Right.
I mean, you know, she was born and she's like, all right, you're 45. And even though you look like a little girl, you got to put on the big girl pants.
Exactly. And she does it, man. I mean, she's, next thing we see, she's getting into, they figure out, you know, when they have to figure out how to start laundering the money.
Right.
She pulls together some ragtag group of dudes and it's like, this is what you got to do, you know? Which
is hillbilly fabulous, bro. Like,
which was really great because, like you said, just the scene of like this young girl, like all these old dudes, and she's just, you know, commanding them around, like, don't do this, you know? And then they're like, okay, you know? And she's just like, don't be stupid and lose the money or go and buy a car and all this stuff. So I love just seeing her in that kind of power role.
No, it's true.
Kid,
like, it's like back in the strip club. You know, it's like she just talks to, like, very direct.
Very.
No BS.
None.
You know, like, this is how it's going to be. I know you're an idiot. Don't be an idiot, at least for the next 3 hours.
Right.
And we can all win here.
Right.
You know.
Right. And I thought it was actually really kind of a moment, like you said, when Wendy was talking to Ben. And he has this, you know, she's like getting mad at him, like, don't be coming down on me, like, get your stuff together before you come in mine. And actually, I wrote the direct quote, and please, if there's any kids out there, you know, put the earmuffs on, you know. But she was, Ben was saying, you know what? Basically, the baby sister, my shit is your shit right now.
Yes.
That's what, you know. So you kind of see, like, hey, we're family. So I know about it. I'm in it now, too.
Yeah.
So basically kind of like, what do you need me to do?
Right.
I'm here. And you're kind of like, okay, because like you said, Ben was still that kind of skeevy character where you're kind of like, I mean, we saw him come in with the problems he had, and you're like, all right, is he gonna, you know? But I'd kind of seen from the last episode that you were like, okay, when he was coming after MArty, grabbed Ruth and like, hey, we got to go get him.
Sure.
you knew he knew something was up, and you're kind of like, I think he's here to help. I don't think he's gonna, bail or do anything to, mess up. And he's really endearing,
No, he is, and I but I also think like he likes like a kind of a shady thing going on.
He's a dangerous dude,
and this is kind of his work. I think we haven't. They did a really good job because they gave us a glimpse in what Ben is capable of when we first meet him, right? In it was the second episode.
Yes.
I can't remember now.
Yes.
What episode is when he was teaching the kids and
right.
he goes crazy, right?
Right.
So we know that he can go there,
right?
And I think I think Ben is constantly trying to not go there. Like I think that's why he's all easy breezy, like smoking pot. It's like I got to keep this beast
the
within.
inner Hulk in there.
Yeah, exactly. He's got to keep the Hulk in. You're not gonna like him when he's angry.
Right. Well, and you know what? It's so funny that you say that because because it almost came out when they were talking about the bank.
Yes.
Being frozen, and I don't even know what he said. I just know he yelled. And
yelled. It was just kind of like, hey!
Right, and everybody turned around like...
and then Wendy looked at him like, don't do that.
Right. Even Helen was looking like...
Don't go green on me.
Exactly. So, and he was just like in his moment, and he just kind of sat there, and everybody was like, okay, is he finished with his moment? So... and like you said, I'm wondering if there's going to be a time where it does come out. I thought maybe he might do it on some of the cartel people, which maybe might put him even more hot. Like maybe he kills somebody or something like that. But
there's still time.
I was going to say we still have yet to see. He still might have to call upon it.
Now, since we're on the topic of Ben,
right?
I love this courting that he's doing
yes.
with Ruth. It's funny because Ruth had a little soft spot for him when she said, I'll look out for him, Wendy.
Right.
Because she didn't want her brother in this mix. I'm like, really, Wendy? At this point, like he's in.
Right.
Let him go and do the chips, do the scam, whatever
Right.
it is. But Ruth's like, don't worry, I'll look out for him. It's like,
Right.
okay, Ruth.
Right.
All right, there's a heart in there.
Oh yeah, no. So you can definitely tell. I think, and it was when he approached her at that car. I think last episode, and he was kind of throwing game at her.
Yes.
And she was like, oh, okay, like, kind of goofy, but, she's kind of like drawn to that, like that little, I don't know, it's like the Southern little charm he has or whatever. But you can kind of see something was brewing. And then, boom, tonight we have actual lip lockage.
Wow.
Between the two.
Ruth and Ben.
And
Ruth and Ben.
Ruth was the one who initiated. So I was like, go, Ruth. She was like, I'm coming in, and Ben was like, hey, I'm not going to back down.
Oh, yeah. No, he was. But I and I love this how she's so gangster. She's like, I'm going to give you a little bit of love.
Right.
And then I'm out.
And then I just walk away.
And then you can just watch me walk away.
Powerful.
Man.
Yeah, those kind of things, just like, oh, man. And I think in Ben's heart, he was probably like, man, I love that woman now.
Yeah, what he said, like, no matter what, you're going to be safe.
Right.
And it's funny because this literally just occurred to me now. No one's ever said that to Ruth. I'm going to make sure you're safe. She's always had to be the adult,
wow.
the one, right? Definitely didn't come from her dad,
right.
Her uncles,
right?
The kids are kids,
right? So
here's the first dude in her life that's like, I'm going to make sure you're safe.
Right. Man, that's
deep.
And like you said, it probably hits her even more. Like, hey, I'm in it to win it then. Like, so we'll definitely keep tabs on that. But I like kind of where that's going, and we'll see. Keep things rolling with that.
What did he say? I'm sorry. He said, "Ugly is my middle name." Right?
Yes.
It's about to get ugly. Ugly is my middle name. Well, actually, it's Jude. And then she called him Jude.
Right. And then that was another point where you're like, oh, like she's in there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
He was probably like, yeah, got her. Just calling me Jude. And so then we kind of continuing on with Wendy. So she's basically trying to hold it together. The FBI agent pays her a visit. And she plays the part, hey, and Marty's in Kansas City and he's on business, and I felt that was actually a really interesting scene because I think she had to kind of hold it together for that FBI, she was just like, no, like,
because FBI was like throwing out the big rod, like,
exactly, like,
come on, take the bait,
and you may not see him again, and she's just like, no. And then we see her break down like a little, a couple scenes later where it's just like probably just too much. Like,
of course.
My God.
I mean,
like,
it's all really. I mean, looking at the card. I mean, such great direction there, right? Like, look at the card. She hasn't heard a peep. Her husband could be dead, and now it's like, well, I gotta pivot now because if he's dead, I'm next.
Right.
you know. But also, I think there's also, you know, they've been kind of making them almost a non-couple recently in this whole season, right? We haven't seen any real love between the two of them. But when it all hits the fan, there's still love there.
And I also saw that as taking MArty out of the picture. Like, you really see, like, sometimes you kind of, like you said, because there had been no love, I felt like she had kind of almost marginalized him. Like, oh man, I'm trying to get the hotel deal done. Like, you're just in the way, all this stuff. But then when he's taking out the picture, it's kind of like, man, we really need him. Like, you know, and like you know, you see Ruth's like, I can't do the casino without him. Like, he does stuff I can't do. And, you know, I think it was all hitting Wendy again. Like, I need him here I can't shoulder this burden all by myself.
That's right. No, that's a great point, brother. Like, because, you know, it only works if they're all there.
Right.
They all play their role, and MArty's a very big part of this.
Oh,
I mean, he's literally like the guy who started it all, right?
Exactly.
I mean, he's always got the pivot.
Yes.
So, you know, you take that out, and things are going to fall apart very quickly. And I think they all kind of needed to be reminded of that too. That I know, ladies, you want to kind of take over here, but don't be sleeping on MArty.
No, Marty Marr is a very crucial part of this. And like you said, got himself out of trouble, ends up getting back to the house. In that last scene, we just see him kind of, and this is the other thing. I don't know if you guys noticed out there, but Sean and I were talking. You ever notice how the bad guys always got to pull up to the spot, just like super, like they can't pull up like in a regular speed. It's always got to be like 50 to 0,
right?
You know, and then they take off, wheels spinning, dirt flying. And, you know, MArty slowly kind of limps up to the house and they kind of fade to black. So, you know, I'm sure it's going to be a celebration, but now he's got to put the plan in motion that he was already talking about. Like, hey, I got to work on trying to turn this FBI lady. Well, probably getting into the FBI, then working on her. How's that going to happen?
Yes.
Plus, I got to launder this money. And again, a lot on the plate.
But I like that, you know, the last thing we see between him and Navarro is, I want you to thank me. I want you to thank me. The whole episode, what do you want?
That was gangster right there.
I want you to thank me for coming up with all these schemes to make you legit, to keep all this going.
Right.
Now, one could argue that, well, before you got involved with this MArty, he might have been okay anyway, but still.
Right. And I think that was one where Navarro like took the glasses off. Like, is this dude serious? Like, comment kind of like, that's ballsy, you know? But it's like, all right, you know? So yes, I know you guys appreciate it. Like you said, probably enjoyed the episode. Let us know in the comments what you guys thought. We want to move on to our and finish things out with our segment of the night, which is our Hail to the Ozark. Oh yeah, you gotta love it, and you guys know there was many Hell to the Ozark moments that could have been mentioned tonight. But like I said, we appreciate if you guys just comment what was your moment for the night. I'll start with me.
All right.
So my Hell to the Ozark moment was when when Wendy and Helen were talking in the beginning. And Helen was like, "How did you get that number?" And I was just like, "Oh, hell no!" You know, 'cause you could see she was kind of hurt. Like, wait, what? How are you talking? That's as she never says like, Navarro or anything. It's always my client. You know, like, how did you get that number to my client? Like, she was still talking in her really like esoteric tone, but really I think she was hurt on the inside. Like, how are you talking to him on the phone? So that was my Hell to the No moment, because it was I think it kind of hurt Helen that Wendy has that kind of personal access to Navarro. So.
Nice. I'm teetering between the two. I kind of just mentioned the one was I want you to thank me. So that was nice, but I think really the one for me was the kiss. The kiss.
Hell no.
Hell no.
Right.
I couldn't believe it. Ruth leaned in, got a kiss.
Boom. Handling bitten it, Ruth.
Yeah.
That's what we talking about.
So it was just nice, because like I said, you feel Ruth's been through so much, and then to get a little love.
There we go.
I'm happy for my girl. Happy for my girl.
Good for Ruth. So real quick, for predictions, what's your prediction for next episode?
I don't know if it's next.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. I didn't want to interrupt our guy there. I don't know if it's necessarily like the next episode, but I think we're going to have more MArty flashbacks. Because we didn't really pay it off yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, we started to build something there, which I appreciated. I think we're going to get a little bit more of where all this comes. Like, you know, I think eventually he's gonna figure out how to rig the machine, right? The arcade game, so that he can win and beat it. You know, with a quarter on a thing, like a quarter maybe on a string or whatever it is. You know, whatever they would do back then to rig those games. So yeah, that's my prediction. What about you?
I'm thinking going to the MArty FBI storyline. Like, what's he gonna say to the FBI agent? You know, because obviously he's gonna be back, and she's gonna be like, "Oh, how was Kansas City?" You know, and does he say like, dude, they got, like, if he's supposed to be working with them, like, they got me, or I was there, maybe I know how to get to the layer, or, you know, whatever it is. And really, he's like double agent for Navarro. So how all that's going to play out, I think he's going to get caught up somehow. And I don't know. I don't know, you know. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to go. But I know that's going to be a big thing that we're going to have to look out for.
Yes, sir.
So, hey, that's this week's episode. We appreciate you guys stopping by. Again, leave us some comments down below. Tell us what you think of the episode and what you think is going to happen going forward. Sean, let them know where they can find you at.
At SeanStar75 on the gram and at Gorilla Suit Sean on Twitter.
I like that, on the gram. And you can find me on Twitter and the gram at Tenere W. That's at TENEREW. Well, again, you guys have a great week, and we will look forward to talking with you guys again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Take care.
99 Problems and Navarro's #1.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.